Hey, what's good, coders? Today we are back with the continuation of our to-do list application. And in this video, we'll be walking through a step-by-step process to creating our add and edit page. So, before we just jump into the end result that you should expect from the video, please, if you're new to the channel, like, share, and subscribe. Now let's jump to our screens and let's go. So this is what we already have in our application. We have our login screen that the user can click the login button, having entered the credentials, then they go to the home page. In the home page, we've got this add button, which was going to redirect us to this add page that we're going to be coding out today. And the user can also then, if they want to then edit like some sort of that to do, they will be redirected to this add edit page, which will then pre-populate the title, description, the date. And we also have here when we like view like the different types of to-dos that we want to edit. So we'll be implementing all this in this session. So please guys, stay tuned and code along. And now let's get to work. So in the previous video, we were doing a home page for our to-do list application. So now we're going to continue and actually create and add an edit page. So you're going to see the advantages of using a single page application. So let's get along with the coding. So first and foremost, we like checking out our themes.scss folder, and we'd like to add something there. So the first thing we'd want to add in there is our border radius. So this will be our border radius for our add and edit, right? Well, you can name your CSS variables anything, and I guess this is just a fine name, right? So a border will have like some sort of like 2020 for the left and right, so it's top left and top right, and then 0 pixels for the bottom left and bottom right. So then another thing we'd want to then go about creating is actually our add edit page, which will be like a single page that will handle both, right? So how we go about doing that is we'll go to our pages, and then we'll just ng generate. We want to ng generate our add, ng generate component add edit. So this will be our add edit page. So this has already created that component for us. So we'll clear that console and actually go to our pages, and this is what we see. So we'll then head on actually creating a route for it, right? So this could actually work. So how we create a route for it, we can just copy this, right? Object, add that. Then the first page will be our add page, and this will route to this add edit component. The same will go with our edit. So edit, then we'll have like some sort of like an ID to it, because we want to edit like a specific to do, right? So then this will be our add edit component. All right, so since we have that in store, now we can now move on into actually viewing what we have, right? So we can just run this project, ng serve. All right, so we've served this already, and it's working. So let's go about actually viewing. Let's open our browser. So in our browser, let's just, yeah, localhost. So this will target our localhost, right? This will go to just our home page. Let's see if this works. Oh yeah, it does work. Let's just open this in mobile view, inspect that, and then we'll probably want to see our add, right? That will be for our add. And then for our edit, we'll just say / edit. Add edit works, right? So currently we're just seeing the same page. So let's go about actually creating something in our add edit, right? So let's go about just creating a skeleton of what we want to have, right? So first and foremost, we just want to import our themes.scss. So we'll say source /themes /theme /themes.scss, right? Then we'll just say this is our add. No. Sorry. That's fine, right? So we've got our add edit. No, this has to go to our themes.scss. What am I doing? Yes. So here we're doing just first create a skeleton. So this is add edit container, right? And then inside our container, we would want to have the content, right, that we're going to be rendering in there. So add edit. So this will be add edit content, right? So this is going to be our add edit content. Okay, content. All right, so we have that sorted out for us, right? Now let's just then actually now draw out the skeleton of what we need on our UI, right? So we know that first and foremost, we want to have like some sort of a title, a description, deadlines, which is gonna be like a date and time, and then we're just gonna add like what's this, an image. If you want to add an image into our to-do, and then we'll just have a button on the bottom. So how to have that is we want to have an input, right? An input text, which is our placeholder that's going to hold our title. So this is going to hold our title. We'll save that, right? Second one will be our description. We want a bigger field for that description. So for there, we'll need something like a text area. We can remove the name. Do we want the ID? Okay, we can just call the ID description, and that's just it. Then underneath that, we'll probably then want to have a deadline, right? Which is going to be a date and time. So this will take in type of type date. This will be date time, and then yeah, that's just it for that one. And then we would want to have another input underneath that, which is gonna take in our file for the this is gonna be the file ID equals to file, right? Then yeah, so don't so if, in case you're wondering why I keep on looking is I've got my designs in here, and then over here I've got actually the code. So when I'm coding, I look this. So when I look at the designs, this is just on the screen. Okay, yeah, enough with the talking. So now let's see what we have on our page, right? Okay, so now what we see is we've got our input for our title. We've got another input for the description and date, time, and actually the choosing of the file, right? We'll actually do something tricky with the file upload, but you'll see that when we get there, right? So what we can do here is for the description, we can add in like a placeholder that's gonna be description, right? And that's just all we need. So we'll have a description, that, right? Now let's go on and just do the stylings. So how we go about styling this is we want to have like in a width for our actual container, which will take up like 100% of the whole screen, right? And then we want to have the height, which is gonna take in like the height of the whole screen. So we'll use 100% view height. That will take in the height of the total height of the device. I mean to say, yeah. So that's just all we need there. Yet for now, I meant to say. Then we'll need to point to actually the content, right? For the content, we want to set something like, let's see. So for the content, we want to set 100%, right? We want to set 100% for the content, the width to be 100%. And then we want to set the height to also be 100%. We'll do something fancy with it. Let me see. Not necessarily 100%, or is it 100%? Let's see. Okay, yeah. So we'll just set the width and height to 100% and just add in a background color to be our primary color. Primary color for the background color. We go about saving that, right? So that's nice. And we want to see it. We have a background color and everything filling up the whole screen, right? So what we want to do is actually add a margin. So it will be a margin top, right? Want to add in a margin top, and then this will be set to like 90 pixels, right? After setting up that to 90 pixels, we want to then, okay, let's just press pivot, right? That will be pushed down to the, yeah, it will push it just a bit down, right? And then we just want to set like some border radius to the top and the top left and the top right, right? So how we go about doing that is we'll set in like a border radius equals to our border radius for add edit, right? Which is the one we set up on our CSS variables, right? So now we see that we do have a top, we do have a border for that, but we can't necessarily see it now because the content is stuck at the top left, right? So we can't actually see that border radius for the top left, right? So how we can fix this is actually adding like some sort of like a padding, right? To the actual content, add edit content. So we'll just add in like a padding of 24 pixels, right? Then let's go there. Now we can probably see it. But now we have another issue that we're seeing is that now we can't see the top right corner because now the padding is actually now pushing the div, which is then flowing outside of the screen, right? So how we can fix that is actually by adding like a box sizing of border box, right? So when you add a box sizing of border box, it tells like the DOM that like actually just have all the content, just take up the available space that we have. So when we add padding to that, just add padding to what you have on this specific div, right? Um, and then, okay, so we have that for now. Now let's go about fixing the inputs, right? So for the inputs, we'd want to say set the width of that to be 100%, right? And then we want to set the height. Want to set the height of the inputs to be 48 pixels. Set the height of the input to be 48 pixels. And then we want to fix our stuff. Okay, so what we want to do is, you see, when we click on like a specific input and we want to actually enter some text, we see this outline over here, right? Upon focusing on the input and the text area, we just normally just see that blue outline, right? And another thing we see that we already have a border, and which are things that we don't want currently, right? Well, we do want the border, but for now we'll just remove it. So how we'd go about doing it is actually, because this will apply for our actual input and our text area, right? So we'll fix that here. So we'll just say for our input and our text area, right? What we want to have is set our border radius to none, right? And we want to set our outline. So our border radius, if we set our border radius to none, that just removes the border, right? And then we want to then set our outline to none as well, right? Let's see. Oh, something didn't work out. No, we want to set our border, not border radius, to none, right? Now we don't have a border, and upon focusing, we should remove like our outline, right? So this is like our outline, that should be none. Okay, let's see something. Outline should be none. Huh. What's actually happening? What's actually happening? So this is for the text area. Ah, it cannot identify that text area. That's why I then did like some sort of like a description with the ID. I don't know why, which is quite weird, right? Okay, yeah, that works now. And this is for our description and our input, right? Oh yeah, so we don't have a border radius, nor do we have like an outline when we actually focus, right? Okay, so now the next thing that we'd probably want to add is maybe a margin top and make that 16 pixels, which we're gonna get from our padding 16. Right, so that's looking all nice, it's spaced out nicely. Then another thing that we then want to add is, okay, before we remove this border, I think, um, okay, let's put it back. I think you are going to be able to see it either way, right? So the issue that we have now is that although we've got like our text area here, right? But the text area has a default resize set to true, right? So when we click here at the bottom and actually stretch, we can then stretch this text area, and which is something that we don't want, right? So how we can go about doing that is, man, no man. Okay, and then we'll just say for our description, the ID description, which is then going to be for our text area, we want to set a resize to none, right? Telling it that now we can't actually resize that component, right? Okay, that's fine. So another thing we'd want to then add is actually add some border radius to our inputs, right? So we'll just say border radius equals to border radius. So the border radius 12 will take in 12 pixels for our border radius. All right, that's fine. Now we've got something looking all nice. We'll then want to say, okay, add 100% for our width, right? Both for our description and that. We just want to add in 100% for that. That fills up the whole content that we have. Then another thing we want to do is actually now change our background color. So our background color will take in a primary color. So when we take in a primary color, we cannot actually then see how our text are, right? But if you can take a good guess, you can see that, okay, this is where I enter. But then we'd want to fix it, right? We just want to add in like a border. So when we add a border, we'd want to say 1 pixels for the border width. Then we want to make it solid. And then the color of that border, we want to give it just this white color, right? So that will give it like that nice looking border radius, right? And another thing we want to add is change the styling for actually our text that's going to be used. So we're going to be using a white color for our text. So when we type out, we're going to have that white color. But the problem is when we then actually, the placeholder is still grayed out. So how we can change the color of the placeholder is we do this and, right? And then placeholder, and then we'll add in like a color of white. And note this, we can only use this type of like styling format here when we're using like an SCSS, right? But with normal CSS, what you need to do is actually this would need to be underneath, and then this will also need to be underneath, and then you'll specify, yeah, which is just trouble. I just don't want to do that. Okay, yeah, so we have that placed out properly, right? What else do we want to do? We want to set a padding, left padding, or we can just say padding. Nah, yeah, let's just say padding. We'll just say the top and bottom padding will be 0 pixels, and the left and right padding will be 16 pixels, right? That's fine. Okay, now we have that issue of the padding, because since we added the padding, the text is now flowing to the left. which is something we don't want. So how we fix that again? We use this box sizing for the box, and then voila, all our text is like, it's not flowing outside or shifting actually our inputs. Which is nice. We have something nice over there, right? Did we want that? I think let's do this. Let's do this here. Let's remove this. We'll put this here top, and then here for our description we wanna actually say we want our padding all around to be like, take this padding of 16 pixels, which is nice. Fair enough. I don't know. Can you see me properly? Should I fix that? Oh yeah, I'm still alive. I'm still alive. Then the next thing that we want to do is actually what else? What else? Let's see. So we've got that nicely there. So if you enter text, enter text, enter text, right? That's fine. And then we can click on this, enter a date that we want, click on that, pick whatever we want, and open that. Still safe. We are still safe, right? Okay, now what we then want to do is actually say font size. Would we want to make that font size? Let me just say font of 16. Let's see if we have a font of 16. Okay, that's fine. I think the text is quite big enough. We can like probably see properly. Uh, what do I then want to do? What will I then want to do? So now there's a trick that I said we want to add on this, because we don't want to have like just this normal file chooser that says no file chosen, right? Because even if we try to come here, right, and actually say, okay, let's add a placeholder, right, and just say for the placeholder add image, right? This will still not work out. It won't work out for us, right? Because it's not actually changing anything in there, right? So there is a trick to it. So how we go about working around it is actually saying that, okay, we can create a label. Let me change this ID. This ID will be image file, so that you just don't get like confused, right? So this label, this image file, we can put that, take that ID for the actual file upload and put it on this label. So what it will do is say for this label, use the ID of that input field, right? So that when you click or do anything, click on the actual label, it will then trigger that file upload. Sorry, my bad. So now let's add in some text. Please choose, choose a file, right? File. So now, when we click on this text, it will open up that file chooser, and when we click on that, it will open up that file chooser, right? So now what we can do is actually now say, for an input, right, which has the type of file, okay, which has the type of file, we just want to set the display to hidden. And display to none. Yeah, I think it's display none. Yeah. So now when we click on choose this file, we'll actually still have that file upload. All right, which is nice. That's fine. That's fine. So the next thing that we want to do is actually now say, okay, we have that working out for us. Now let's just remove this and actually add in like a div. Do you want to add in a div? Let's see. Do we actually? Okay, yeah. I would actually want to just add in a image container. Image upload container. You can call it anything, but I'll just say image container, and then I'll just have a p tag that says add image, which is then optional. Just want the user to know that this is just optional. And then I'll also want to have like an icon to it, right? Which I have in my assets folder, image, yeah, icon. And this will be just an image icon. Save that, right? So what we do have now is actually this image icon and that. So when we click on anything there, we'll actually see that open. Okay, now let's go to our fancy styling and say for our label, right? What we want to do is actually set the width of that label to 100%. And then we know that we have an image container container in there. The reason why I keep on looking there is so that I don't know if the video just decides to stop. I should actually see if it's still running. Okay, we can then display this to flex, right? Change that and say display it to flex, right? And I think that's quite fine. Let's save and yeah, right. So what we also have inside this container is that we have an image. So for our image, we want to set our width and height of that image to take on 24 pixels, and the height should take 24 pixels. 24 pixels. Go about saving it. Right. So display flex, and then what we're going to do is say we want to just space this out, so give it a space between, and then we just want to align everything to the center, vertically to the center. So how we then give space between horizontally, just say justify content to space between, that will just space them out equally. And then we can say align items to center to vertically align this to the center. Which is quite fine. What else we want to do? We want to say for p tag, we want to have our font size to be font size of 16 pixels. Is 16 even fine? I think 16 is quite big. I don't know. Okay, we'll change that when the time is right. Okay, another thing that we want to do is actually now change the color of our text. So the color of our text, we'll give it this whitish color, this white color, right? Change the, okay, after giving it its white color to white, then just decrease the opacity. Opacity for that will actually be 0.5, right? And then that will give it like almost like the same color with that other one. So what else can we do, right? We'd probably let's see. We'd probably wanna add in like some sort of like a border radius. Let's just see border. No, not okay. Border radius of this type. Border radius. I don't know if this will work out. Nah. Okay, yeah. And then we wanna give it a border, right? 1 pixel solid, and then the color is this white color. Let's see what we have. Ha! That didn't work out. Okay, let's move this, all of this, copy this, and just put it here on this image div. Yeah, that should work out for us, right? Okay, that's fine. And then we'll just add in margin top of 16 pixels. Margin top of 16 pixels. Right, that's fine. Add in some bit of some padding. Padding. Let me argue. Let's see. What do we want to add in for padding? Let's just say padding of 10 or 16. Padding of 16. Let's see. Padding 16. That's quite big. But it's not bad. But nah, we don't want that. So let's see. top and bottom, we'll just give it 0 pixels for the padding, and then left and right, we'll just give it that padding. Yeah, all right, that fixes it for us. It's actually nice. It's looking all nice. So now we've got this. So when you click on that, we can actually see everything that we wanted. Oh, then now for this, we'd also want to probably change this calendar, right? So how we go about changing the calendar is actually say for our input, which is of the type date, type, right, date. Let's hope I get this right. WebKit, WebKit / calendar date, date picker, no man, date picker, and then indicator. I always get this one wrong. I don't know why, but I just happen to get it wrong all the time. So this is for a text. Is that even gonna work? And then let me just add color to white. I just want to see why am I having this squiggly line? Why am I having that? Which is weird. It's kind of weird. I don't know why, but that's weird. Why am I having that guy? So this is okay. I didn't close the state. Sorry, my bad. Okay, so what I want to do is actually just change the background to a URL, right? That I'm gonna give it. So that assets folder, and then I want to give us this calendar SRP. Let's hope this actually does work. Let's see. It doesn't work. It just decided not to work. Okay, let's see. Date picker. That as well didn't work. Okay. Let's see. Change date picker indicator in CSS. Always get it wrong. I don't know why. It's crazy. It's calendar picker, not date picker. See? It's calendar picker, then that. Okay, let's see. Did that even work? So it's indicator WebKit. Yeah, let's just see this. Okay. This is that WebKit calendar picker. Yes, that did work. So since that worked, we'll say now we wanna have its bottom box sizing to border box. Yeah, let's see. Okay, wanna set the padding. Yeah, my video just decided to stop. I knew this would happen. But anyways, let's carry on with the video. So bottom to 10 pixels, padding bottom to 10 pixels, right? Not even working. Oh, okay, that's weird. Okay, that's weird, really weird. Man. Okay, let's just remove that. Oh yeah, that did work. Okay, what we want to do is set the background to no repeat, because we see that since we had this padding bottom to 10 pixels, it's just repeating in the image. So we want to set this to no repeat, right? And then padding right. For the padding right, we just want to make it 10 pixels. Let's see. Fair enough. Fair enough. This is quite fine, actually. Let's make it 5 pixels. Let's see. It's not bad at all. It's actually aligning properly. So let's click on it. Now we can open that, choose a date, then we can choose a file that we want to upload, and yeah, which is quite proper. So the next thing that we want to do is actually now set our cursor, right? So this will be cursor, set that to pointer. All right, so that's fine. That's if we're just on a web view, but if you're on a mobile, we don't care much about the pointer, right? So we've done that. That works out for us. So the next thing is, we see a problem that we've shifted this content div to the bottom, but now it's scrolling up, which is now not saying just take 100% view of the actual height, right, of the device. But now it's just stretching out, right? So how we can go about fixing so that it just only takes in like the content that we have, right? Is actually by setting an overflow here so that we say anything above this height, just cut it out, right? We're gonna say set the overflow to hidden. So we just want to say anything above the height and the width. But if you just want to say anything above the height, you can just say overflow Y and just set it to hidden. But we want to say anything above the height and the width, just cut it out, right? So what we have now is now we can't scroll down, right? Which is good that we can't scroll down, right? And then now we want to also set up like something like a height for our description and set that to like 55%. That will stretch it out quite proper for us. And then since that's stretched out for us, we just want to add in like some sort of like a button down there, right? So how we add a button down there is actually by saying here, oh, because on our previous video, I think this was on the video for the login and registration. So for the login and registration, if you haven't watched that video, please just go and watch it. So in our global styles over here, we did create global styles. We did create like a button submit, right? So we can use this actual class, right, which already has the styling, and just paste it here, right? So we'll say this is for button submit, use it in a div, button submit. We'll use this in a div, and what you'll see is when we enter text here, to do, right, you see something. Well, currently you won't see because the background is actually the same background, but we don't have a background for it, right? But what we'll do is actually come then here and just add a background, and you'll see magic. So the background submit, okay, dot, I think it's just paste. And then if we add in like a background of white, right? You'll see that we already have our styles set up for us, right? So this is showing out properly, right? But now the issue is the text is also white, but then we can change that and actually say now the text and just say primary color for the text, right? And just set a margin top to 16 pixels. So this will say margin top to 16 pixels, right? Yeah, so this will then show it out like properly for us. We can then increase like the text, the font weight for that text. So we can just say font weight and set it out to bold, right? And then what we'll see is actually that our button has a bold font. Okay, that's fine. We love that. We love it. So next thing that we want to do is actually say, okay, let's just see in our view how it looks. Oh, it does have a cursor pointer, yeah. I think, yeah, we're fine. So we didn't need to do much because in our global styles, we already had styles. It's just that we just needed to add in like a bit to actually fix it out. So we just, let me just remove that. Okay. Yeah. So now we talked about having the advantages of actually using a single page application. So the advantages of using a single page application is that you can just have one page and actually render different stuff on that page, right? So how we're gonna do this is because we didn't want to create two pages for the add and edit because probably they'll just have the same content in there. So we're like, oh, let's actually just use this one page for both of them, right? And add in some logic to just handle depending on what page we're using, right? So we want this text firstly to change depending on which page we're at. If we're on the add, we want to say add to do. If we want the edit, we want to say it's edit to do, right? So how we do that is actually say we want a button text, right? To take type string, and then this will be an empty string, right? And then another thing that we want to then do is actually say, okay, but our button text should actually be to do, add to do, right? So this will just say on edit, and then we're just gonna render this here, right? Just gonna take in whatever we're gonna be entering on our button text. So now this will change our button text to be add to do on init, right? So when we actually init, right, it will change our button text to add edit, right? And then if ever we like say, okay, let's set a timeout. Just this is just something cool before we just set a timeout to like 3 seconds. After 3 seconds, we want to change this text. This dot. I don't know if this is gonna change, but let's see. This will maybe edit to do. Nah, I don't think this is gonna change. Is it gonna change? Let's find out, right? Yeah. So you see, so on like loading, it's add to do. After 3 seconds, it changes to edit to do, right? That's what we're gonna do something like that, but handling on the URL, right? So how we monitor our URL, what we have on the URL, we say we want to have an activated route, right? And say this is activated route, right? Type activated route. So what we want to check in this activated route is actually our URL. Yeah, this is our URL. Then we want to subscribe to our URL, right? And then this will be URL, which is of type any, right? And then okay, type any, and then we want to say just console.log our URL, right? Want to go to our console. This will then display this for us, right? But upon adding, right, we'll have this URL segment, and the path for that is actually then add. But for the edit, the path of the first index will be edit, right? So what we want to have over here is actually say for the URL 0 at element 0, we want to just have the path, right? And then we can just do something like this. Right, URL. Then we have add. We have console log to the add, right? So what we can then do is actually have an if statement that says if want to change oh, we can do something cool, which is like a ternary. But first and foremost, let's just make it simple for our viewers out there and say just if our URL dot path, if URL at element 0 dot path, right, equals to add, right, we want to say our button text, right, equals to this add to do, right? Else we just want to make it edit to do. Just else this dot button text, this will actually be edit to do. Oh yeah, let me just space it out properly. Right? So this will be add to do, but if we change the URL to that, this will be edit to do, right? Which is quite fun, right? But this same thing, we could use this like in just a single line. So we can just have button text and then have like if. So this will like specify for the if, right? At element 0, the path. If that equals to add, then we want to say um, add to do, right? We want to have an add to do, right? Else, just render edit to do, right? And that's just the same as this whole, just in one line. Isn't that cool? So now let's clear that and just paste it down there. Add to do or edit. Oh yeah, like this, right? That's fine. I think that's fine. I think that's fine for us. That still works the same wonders for that. Edit. Okay. Want to say /edit 1 or 2, whatever it is. That will say edit to do. If we're on the add, it will say add to do, right? That's fine. Right, let's clear that, right? All right. So now we see that we've got now two of our pages. We've got this add and this edit, right? But now we would want to then do something to it, right? We want to say upon editing, we just want to pre-populate what we have in actually this text, right? So how we can do this is actually by saying if we do want to add in reactive forms, but do we want to do that for this for now? I don't think so, but we will do that on a later stage, right? Okay, so first thing that you want to do is actually say if our button text, right, includes edit. I think this, if this button text includes our edit, then we want to pull something from actually like the API or our mock data, right? So how we do that is actually now say we want to have put in like our to-do service. So this to-do service is coming from this to-do service, right? Which is fine. Then we'll copy out this text and say that this dot to-do service dot want to get this list of our to-dos, right? Then we want to subscribe to it and actually get the data that we're getting from there, right? Oh man. Then we just want to say console log this data, which is fine. All right, this is quite fine for us. Oh yeah. So what we would then want to do is actually say for our to-do data, we wanna say this to-do data takes, man, I don't know why I like using this. Okay, interfaces are sometimes bad, but you'll see why. Okay, so this can take in like an object. Do I want to have that? I don't think I want to restrict this to this. Nah. Just take it any. Right? Because then all I know is, let's come here. Let's actually come to the application and just, console log what we have. No, that's for the edit. So upon edit, okay, something is not happening. So what did we do wrong? So we said if our button text, right, includes edit, our edit dot to lowercase, lowercase, right? So if our button text has that edit, then we just want to return what we have in our array. So we'll display our title, description, and the date. Will be able to display the date? We'll find out. I don't know. I don't know. We'll probably try finding out. I don't know if you will need to create a pipe for that, or we'll just yeah. Let's just go. Um. All right. I don't think I want to create a custom pipe for that. I'm not about that life today. Okay, so we can say to do data equals to our data that we're getting back, right? Dot filter, because we want to say the data we're getting back, we want to filter this by a specific ID. So which means that we first have to find the ID. Oh, this is nice. Isn't this nice? Okay, this is fine. So do we want to find that? Let's just try finding it here. So if it's edit, right? We want to say that this dot activated route dot want to say our param map dot subscribe to our param maps, and then we'll just say param map, which is of type any, right? Just put that in brackets, then arrow function, and then just copy this and just cut this, right, and paste it in here, right? So this param map needs to also have an error. I don't know why I don't like doing these errors on the fly, but they end up being confusing. So this is gonna be any, right? And then I will just say console.log. Okay, let me reduce this. Yeah. Okay. I don't wanna have like so much echo. I don't know why I was echoing that much. Okay, yeah. So this will say console log any, but I think it is fine. I think my voice is fine. Yeah, I think that's fine. Okay, we'll say console log any, and then we'll just say, just display that. And then we'll also want to have like a handle error here. Want it to catch the error and just console log the error we get. So console.log the error that we get. Right, so this will just say we'll save that. And then what we'll want to do is actually say that upon subscribing to this guy, which is the param map, so if we console.log this param map, we should actually see our parameters, right? So our parameters, the ID is 2 because we passed in 2, but if we say 4, the ID will be 4, right? So in this object, we'll say if param map.params.id, if the ID actually exists, then we want to say let ID equals to, so we want to say let the ID equals to the params.params.id, right? .id as a number, because this is coming in as a string, but you can leave it as is if you want to. All right, so another thing we'd want to then do is actually say, so if we have that ID, we'll then want to say, okay, once we get the ID, then we want to filter out our data, right? So the to-do, our to-do data is actually going to be our data.filter, because we want to filter out the ID, right, by ID. So this will be to do. This will be for our single to do type any, and then we'll say just find a to do, right? To do where the ID equals to this ID, right? And then we want this to take in the first element because our filter will just return like an array of to dos, right? So now we can just console log and just say this is data, right? And then this is going to be to do data. For to do data, and then we'll just have this data and then to do data, right, which is computer science for the title. Then if we say 3, that will say informatics. And then if we say 1, that will say tutorial, right? But that's not all we want. So what we want to then now do is actually now display our actual data. All right. So how we go about displaying our data on this, we want to do like some sort of like a two-way binding, right? So how we go about doing that is by saying that's bracket ng model, right? And then we'll just say to do data dot title, and we see that this thing is actually complaining. All right, so how we fix this is actually adding like a form module. So we'll just say import form module, forms module, or reactive forms or something. Yeah, just forms module. Forms module did work. So let's see. Do we have tutorial? Oh yeah, we do have tutorial. So if we say now 2, design logo. If we say 3, informatics. If we say 4, then yeah, this is actually working out for us, right? So then over here, we just want to then display our description, right? So this will say description. That's fine. Let's see if we are going to display the date and time. Created date. Yeah, I think we might not even need a pipe for that. Oh, man. It says the specific value for this does not form to the required format of the date and time. Which is fine. Okay, that's fine. That's fine for now. That's just fine for now. Can we pipe it here? Let's see. Nah, we can't do that. Okay, think that's all we need. The image, nah, we don't need anything there in the image. So the date and time, and let's see. Okay, yeah. So we can format the date and time for us over here, right? Let's just see to do dot created date, right? To do for created date equals to this dot to do dot created date. Let's see if this is gonna allow me. That pipe won't allow me. Oh, man. Okay, let me just change this to actually say, just taking this date over here, right? This is new date, right? I don't know if this is gonna work out. I don't want to do some sort of like string stuff. Date, that's the date, and then let's see if I can format. Okay, year, month, and month forward slash month forward slash day. This is not even allowing me to do that. Okay, so what we need to do is add in let date pipe equals to new date pipe. I don't know if this is gonna allow me. And this is for let's date, right? So this date pipe, we wanna add in a date. Can we do that? Oh yeah, I think that's gonna work. Y forward slash month forward slash. No ways, this is not even working. So this is date. that's how it's supposed to be done. I don't know. You tell me. Nah, it's not working. Nah, I don't think that's working. Nah, that's not working. How do you get this working? So we've got this day. Okay. This had an error. Nah, this is not working. Okay. Let's just see. Date pipe dot transform. Yeah. Oh yeah. Then when we transform, we wanna add in a date, then add in like a format for that date. Yeah. Forward slash month forward slash date. Okay. So we don't need all this over here, right? What? Local data. How is this even possible? How is this even possible? This equals to a date time, right? Oh, this has to be a string, US. And then, yeah, I think, I don't know. I don't know if this is gonna work. Console.log, let's see this. I don't know if this is gonna work out. It's US slash something though. What do you call it? It's US English. Is it EN? Is it man, US English. I don't know. Is that how they do it? Nah man. Let me let me not let me just try checking how the doc says for this. Date pipe right in Angular. Date pipe in Angular. What do you put in there, right? Yeah, this date pipe in Angular. It puts in like I think it's EN then US. I think it's EN because I'm not even getting it on Stack Overflow. I don't know why. Man, why am I not getting it? Why am I not even getting this thing? Date time in Angular. New. Let's see. New date pipe in Angular. In Angular. Okay. Yeah, it has to be somewhere where they have this. Yes. So what is this guy over here? I can't even get what they're using for the state. Oh yeah, it's ENUS. I did it right, so why isn't it working? Which is quite funny. This is funny. Date time dot translate that. So we transform, we pass in the date. Man, no. We pass in the date, right, that we want, but we're still not getting the value, which is quite funny. Why aren't we actually getting the invalid arguments? Unable to convert date time into date for pipe that. What? That's amazing. Why? Oh, this is date dot to string. To date string. I think so. Okay. That's still not working. Okay. That's funny. That's actually funny. I don't know why this is not working. I just really don't know why this is not working. And I can't even find something. But I know I'm going about the right path. It's just that there's this one thing that I'm missing right here, right? We have a date time and then that value for that date time, right? But I'm kind of missing something. But what is it that I'm missing? I just don't know. But okay, it's still fine. It's still fine. I just didn't want to go the hard route. So the hard route for us is actually by saying date, just console.log our dates, right? Want to console log our dates, invalid date. Okay, which is funny. They say we have an invalid date. Okay. Oh, all along this thing is working. It's man, come on. I just put in the wrong date. Now I don't need this. Man, this is crazy. Okay, that's fine. Then we'll just say to do. Man, sorry you guys. To do, that's equal to that, and then this will just equal to our created date. I'm like wondering why isn't it working? Okay, which is quite funny. Yeah. So to do date is that 04. Oh, okay. Which is funny. Why do we have such a date? Created date. Let's go here. Hmm. Let's see. Where is this? In our essays, what's that? 2021 01, right? 01 2021. That's quite sad. Why is our data not even showing properly? Oh, it's month, not the small man. Man, been making mistakes. It's month, like that. Yeah. So that's showing properly. So we've got um, the specific value does not conform to the required date. Ah, okay. Okay. So this has to be forward slash. No, not forward slash, but slashes. Yeah. So now our date and time is. Ooh, ooh. We need. Oh, okay. Nah, we didn't actually intend that. We actually didn't intend that. This is what we managed to do it. We actually did manage to do it. All right. That's nice. So let's just now remove this and actually say that this will be there. And this over here will just say, if we want to say for the add, we'll want to have these so that the user can add. And then for actually editing, we can say edit one, and then we'll still have that, right? Now we can then go back to this home, this page, and actually say, which is the home page. We want to go to the home page. Just say localhost that the home page. When we click on this button, we're gonna route to that other page, right? So how we make that happen is come to the home page over here, and then we'll just say tab, and then add redirect to add, right? Then we'll add in like a router over here, private router, which is going to be a router, right? And then this router, this dot router dot navigate to this URL. We want this to go to the add page. Then when we click on this guy, oh, what's going on? Oh, no, we didn't link this to a specific button. Oh man, we're almost done. We're almost done, right? So we say when we click this, we wanna actually route to the home page. So when we click this, we wanna route to the add page. I think we're done. I think we're done, right? Because then the user can then add, right? Add. But now if the user wants to edit this guy too, we can then go to the edit page, right? So with all that being said, please guys, if you found this video actually useful and you haven't subscribed, please go and hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so that you are notified for the next time I drop. With all that being said, peace.